Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spiritual Readiness and the Time of the Shift. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about a different perspective on the process of ascension. I've spoken about this before, but I'm going to give you a different lens, a different point of focus. In many spiritual books, ascension is referred to as the merger of the threefold flame. It is supposed to be the merger of love, wisdom, and power. Love is a very powerful emotion. There exists ultimately only two basic emotions in the universe: love and fears. Love is a vast and immense umbrella that holds underneath it an entire array of higher emotions. What most of us are not realizing, as we exist on Earth in 3D, most of us have only experienced maybe 3 to 5 basic emotions. We experienced survival, we experienced maybe love, some sort of version of love, and maybe some experiences of happiness, and maybe even a sense of feeling safe if we're sheltered correctly, and that's it. We may have Webster dictionary definition of empathy, of calmness, of serenity, of peace, of obedience, and all kind of other higher emotions, but we may not fully understand what that emotion feels like. We may never have fully experienced it to its highest scope. Beings that are ascended, or beings who have regained access to these emotions. What do I mean by that? In the process of descent, of cascading down the dimensional scales, we exist in 3D, there exists 12 other higher dimensions above us. So in the process of cascading down, we have basically shedded a whole slew of higher emotion to reduce our continents to fit into a narrow vessel. I have personal memories of this descent. And it's a terrifying falling into this kind of pit, precipitous experience and memory that I have. And in the process of this descent, you basically release and let go fragments of yourself. In spiritual writing, we are told that from where we are in 3D, there exists above us 143 other aspects of ourselves to compose what is often referred to as the monad, or the Greek word for one, or the mighty I am presence, which is, when reassembled, is our completed self at a planetary level. This is us residing in our fifth dimensional body. Now, this reassembly of self involved the reconnection to 12, initially 12 higher emotions, and each of these 12 higher emotions will multiply each one of them into another 12, creating 144 higher emotion in total that we need to connect to. But all of these emotions are an umbrella and a subset to the ultimate emotion, which is love. Additionally, I should also talk about a little bit about the wisdom. It's probably the most subtle part of the process, but each of these emotions have a right use, because any emotion can potentially be corrupted into an inappropriate use. So to have the right use of that emotion can cause you now to finally connect to the true power that reside the emotion. And I don't mean power in a sense of force. I mean power sometimes in a sense of restriction of what not to do. Power in the sense of control, of mastery. Okay? Not in the sense of a force that will obliterate and destroy, but as a constructive force. And that's the threefold flame. Now, at every step of the higher dimension, we have to reconcile to 12 forgotten higher emotions. I've said before in other videos, if you watch my previous videos, that Ascension comes first as an energy increase. And this is the reason why in my teaching in the Wisdom Council, which is a Facebook group that I'm doing, the links for which you can find below, I have decided to start out first by teaching emotional intelligence. Because if you're experiencing the very core, raw survival emotions, I know Tony Robbins in his book talks about the fact that the brain is only wired to survive. I completely disagree with this. This is only the reptilian part of the brain, and it's a small portion of it. There are all kind of other higher emotions that we can have access to, but we haven't allowed ourselves to evolve into higher consciousness. So the idea of Ascension is to access these pockets of data, information, and memories, because we were in that state to begin with, right? And as we achieve that, we can expand into a holographic increase in our energy body or emotional body, which imply what? This increase in a sense of us becoming energetically bigger, which is the first step of Ascension. And the second step being the right use, knowing how to use. Because initially when you go back into the memory, you have to remember what you're supposed to know or not know. It's like a child learning how to walk and then start walking into furniture and things and learn not to do this. So you have to learn the right use. And beyond the right use comes the control and the power and knowing exactly what you're supposed to do with this. There's a reason why when a student or initiate is in the presence of a great master, that they feel this sense of experiencing within themselves, because the light of the master is overlighting them. They begin to feel a sense of experiencing their own emotion in a heightened sense. Like they cry and they get highly emotional and they experience things that they didn't know was possible. It's because the master has reassembled itself. At a monadic level alone, you have to reconnect to 144 higher emotions. This is only planetary ascension. Same thing is supposed to happen at the solar level. Going into the galactic level, the universal level, the multi-universal, the cosmic level, and so on, all the way back to God. So basically, in the process of descent, we have shedded all of these higher emotions, which will expand our entire holographic experience of reality. And this is why shifting to a higher dimension involve at a minimum 12 higher, reconnecting to 12 higher emotions. And it's like, if you think of it as a dial, as a clock hand moving, and as it moves, you learn, you assimilate, you reprocess, having at each time threefold flame of the higher emotion, the wisdom, and the power of each one of them. Learn what the higher emotion is, reconnect to it, sense it in your body holographically, the right use of that higher emotion that will give you the power, the control, and the mastery of it. And as you do this, your consciousness will expand. You go out of your comfort zone. The next emotion comes in, and until you have all of them together, then you are shifted into a higher density, in a higher dimension. See what I'm saying? And then you move on to the next level in the spiral upwards, and then you shift it into a higher and higher and higher until you reach the source outside of time and space. And when you're in that realm, then you begin to understand when people are saying divine love, what divine love really is. It's a range of such vast number of higher emotions that and all of them are subset to divine love. So what we experience of love is a tiny reflection or one facet of an immense jewel that is multifaceted. I hope this has helped you become aware of some of the more nuanced aspect of the kind of work that I do. Please like this video and certainly subscribe to the channel below, and ask me any questions that you have. Leave comments. Look forward to talking to you next week. Thank you, everybody.